Hello and welcome to the Ant-Man channel. It is Sunday, the 8th of December 2013, and I am your host, Ant-Man. And I should be at church right now. But hey, let's not point fingers and stone people here, alright? Anyways, I am here on WND.com, and I have an article in front of me here from Joseph Farah under the commentary, and this article is entitled "Don't Mourn for Mandela." Between the lines. Exclusive, Joseph Farah says man wasn't the saintly character portrayed by Morgan Freeman. Every time I picture Nelson Mandela, even though I do not know who he was, I always picture Morgan Freeman for some reason. So it's funny that he points him out here. I guess he played him in a movie or something. I don't know. But anyways, let's get into this article. I'm not so movie savvy like the rest of you might be. Okay, so give me a break. The whole world pretty much is mourning for Nelson Mandela today. Well, he wrote this like 3 days ago, but I'm reading it to you now. But most are not mourning for the real Mandela. They are, in fact, mourning for the myth of Mandela. He was not Martin Luther King Jr. He was not Mahatma Gandhi. And he was certainly not George Washington, as Barack Obama claimed. Whoa! Barack Obama compared Nelson Mandela to George Washington? I don't know anything about him, but I can already tell you that there's no one you can compare George Washington to. Come on, you guys. It's really, what it is it's sad that our founding fathers are just, their names are dragged through the gutter today, man. And these are brave men we're talking about. These are real men we're talking about. We're not talking about punks here. We're talking about guys that were willing to get their hands dirty, roll up their sleeves, not in that chronological order, but they were willing to get in the fight. How many of you out there are willing to go out and fight for what you believe in? Huh! There's a lot of convenience around us, isn't there, that distracts us from what we should be doing. But anyways, let's get back into this article. He was a committed member of the South African Communist Party. He was a leader of the Revolutionary African National Congress, which he helped to radicalize into an organization sworn to armed violent attacks. He doesn't sound like George Washington. Maybe you say, but Farah, he was fighting against the evil of apartheid. Who's apartheid? Yes, that is true. Apartheid was inarguably an evil and unjustifiable system, but so is the system Mandela's revolution brought. About, one in which anti-white racism is so strong today that a prominent genocide watchdog group has labeled the current situation a precursor to the deliberate, systematic elimination of the race. You know, nowadays I find myself, dare I say, getting a little bit radical when it comes to expressing myself. And I've realized this because of the whole racist thing. Racism is such a humongous issue in our society today. Who would have thought? You know what I mean? If Martin Luther King Jr. saw what we were doing today, he'd be like, wow. He'd be like, what the hell, dude? But I'm becoming a little radical when it comes to racism because I think it's stupid. I think it's ridiculous to have such a gigantic issue like racism, and then you realize that the core of it is something so simple: the unacceptance of another human being because of the color of their skin. Think about how stupid that is. That most of our issues today are based upon the color of a man's skin. That shows you how ridiculously stupid we are today. Why? I'm not being critical, but it's actually the truth. Your skin color does not obtain the truth and wisdom and knowledge that you accumulate through the years. Your brain does. Your brain does. Your brain is on the inside of you, and all of our brains are the same color. So you can't be racist towards someone. It's stupid. What it is, it's really stupid. And I'm becoming so radical because like I find myself saying stuff like, oh hey, don't you know? Like I'm really sarcastic because it's a great way of really like projecting how angry I really am. But I'm good at disguising it. You know, I'm a discipled, very controlled person, and I brag about that because it takes practice to be like that. But anyways, I find myself saying stuff like, hey, don't you know only white people can be racist? You know what I mean? Like, I say stuff like that now, and it's like, I throw it in your face so that I can get a reaction from you. Hey, man, don't you know only white people are capable of being racist? You know, I don't even want to go there when it comes to saying the N word. I don't want to use that word. I don't care who wants to use that word, but it's really I almost cussed right now because it makes me that angry. It's a stupid word. It's like the word faggot. Excuse me for cursing, but it's such a stupid word. The N word and the F word, not F-U-C-K, excuse me. I know I just spelled that out for you, but sorry. I'm not talking about that, but the word that I just said. Those words direct so much hatred towards somebody that it doesn't even make them look bad. It makes you look bad for using that word. Anyways, I'm going to get back into this article because I can just go on about this stuff. In other words, the world has been sold a bill of goods about Mandela. He wasn't the saintly character portrayed by Morgan Freeman. He wasn't someone fighting for racial equality. He was the leader of a violent communist revolution that has nearly succeeded in all of its grisly horror. But don't believe me. I've never been to South Africa, not during apartheid and not after. Instead, listen to Sonia Ruska. She was an early supporter of Mandela and worked in his administration. After about 6 years, Ruska said, I realized something serious is wrong. The communist elements are taking over. It's not what we were promised. What did she see that the rest of the world missed? As a business owner, I can get 25 years in jail time if I do employ a white person. Wow. For instance, she said, it is totally ridiculous you cannot have imagined that affirmative action could have gone so far. Today in South Africa's white population of 4 million, 1 million live in utter poverty. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Ruska describes routine violent racist atrocities of almost unimaginable proportions. Kidnap, murders, home invasions, and gang rapes. Wow. It's heinous torture, Ruska explained. Even children as young as 2 months old get burned with hot water, get wrapped in newspaper and burned. In the case of one family, Ruska described a black mob breaking into a home, waiting for the white family to get home, then raping the mother in front of the father and son to see. Then after killing the mother, they killed the father and son by plunging them into boiling water. That sounds awesome to me. Hey, how come we can't live in a world where we just kill white people all day? I think we'd all be happier. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. I have a very, dark sense of humor. I don't know why. It's just the way God wired me to be. I have a dark sense of humor. I try not to laugh at things I shouldn't, but I just, for some reason, find humor in it. If God can find humor in certain things that he did, I'm pretty sure we can all laugh at things that we, sometimes see. It's so stupid. That's why I laugh. I have to laugh. It's like, it substitutes how I really feel, which is I want to cry. I want to cry so bad. But instead, I don't allow myself to cry because that's weak. I've been through this. I've been through the deep waters before. So now I laugh. I laugh in the face of evil because it's like, what do you accomplish from doing all of this stuff? These guys are doing this in the name of liberty, in the name of freedom. It's ridiculous. Think about how backward these people are. She said there is no easy way of saying exactly how these people are tortured. The standard would be a hot iron, electric iron, boiling water, or these are carried out for hours. Wow. And these are carried out for hours. You will read today many stories describing Mandela as a political prisoner. In fact, he served 27 years in prison for 23 specific acts of sabotage and attempting to overthrow the government. It was only a year ago that some of the international press began to report the truth about Mandela for the first time. Last December, the London Telegraph reported that indeed the records showed Mandela was not only a member of the South African Communist Party, he held a senior rank. By the way, Mandela was offered his freedom while incarcerated many times. All he had to do was renounce terrorism. He wouldn't do it. Of course, it's fashionable to forget all of this today. Yeah, it's very convenient to forget about, archaeological evidence of the Bible and the fact that it's a first account witness testimony. But who cares? History gets... Do you know that evolution... Atheists actually say this. They say that their mission is to get rid of Judeo-Christianity and to rewrite history. Think about that. Think about that for a second and think about the repercussions of letting evil people... You know what... forgive me if I quote this wrong, but I think it was Thomas Jefferson or Benjamin Franklin that said this, that all that evil needs to get a foothold is that good men and women do nothing. So while you laugh and you scoff and you think this is all a big joke, think about how you're sitting back and not doing anything and letting evil run rampant and take over all of your liberty. Think about that for a second. While you laugh and you stuff your face with hamburgers and GMO and fluoride, and you're killing yourself with pharmaceutical drugs and laughing at all this information. Think about for a second what it really is I'm talking about here. Use your brain for 1 second. Please, I urge you. Because it's not a joke. Even though I can make a joke out of it once in a while, it's really not. It's really something that we should take into consideration every day and say, hey, maybe one day we will stand up and do something about this. But hey, for now, I think there are too many zombies out there that they're put into these like trance-like states of mind where they're like literally not using their brain most of the time. They're just kind of going through the motions of life. They're kind of just going through the, you know what I mean, the normal everyday thing of being a slave to this system. And that's really just what it is. You're a slave. And you're not free spiritually, and you're not free physically. But anyways, Jesus Christ can do something about that. If you would like to hear about him, let me know. I have an email. It's antman.ml@gmail.com. And you can let me know anytime if you want to hear about it. But anyways, this has, just something else that it says about Nelson Mandela. Let's see, the last December, the London Telegraph, of course, it's fashionable. Okay, nevertheless, these inconvenient truths need to be stated by someone because the Mandela mythology is as dangerous as the terror he and his followers perpetrated on so many innocent victims, white and black. Well, we can see why someone like Barack Obama would like Nelson Mandela so much as to compare him to George Washington, and that's because he's a big fat racist. Those guys hate white people, dude. You gotta be literally stupid to not realize this stuff and see it. They're racist. They don't like white people, dude. If they did, they wouldn't make excuses like Oprah Winfrey and say, "Oh, if you don't like Barack Obama, it's because you're racist," and that's really what it is, and you just don't want to say it. So Oprah Winfrey knows all of our imaginations and all of our everything we think for some reason, and then you got people like Eric Holder and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton that come out and they say stuff like they're entitled to being like this. They justify their hatred for other people, and that, in my honest opinion, is hate. It is the core of it, and it is all in all corrupt. So anyways, you guys figure this stuff out for yourself. God bless.